Welcome everybody to today's interview. I'm very proud and pleased to have my friend Jamie Stenhouse here with us today. Jamie is an entrepreneur and a marketer, and he specializes in assisting business owners and clients generate customers online in any industry. He's an extremely sharp individual, has produced incredibly high value for his clients and helping them yield profitable results online. So, welcome, Jamie. So glad to have you here today.
Thank you very much. I'm always glad to be online with you. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, would it be fair to say, Jamie, that when we catch up that we speak a million miles an hour about marketing for like three hours in a row?
Yes, yes, indeed. And I think it's healthy, because I think when you can trade ideas like that very, very quickly, a lot of progress can be covered relatively easily.
And would it be fair to say that we have a bunch of mutual friends that are all trying to get their businesses off the ground and, all trying to kill it online at the moment? Would that be fair to say?
Indeed we do. I think it's great to have a little community that we have on of other entrepreneurs here and there who are all, trying to help out their clientele and trying to grow their brand online. So I do agree. I think we have a good little community around us as well, which is great to see.
So a couple of weeks ago, Jamie and I ran into each other at a party, and, I guess technically at a party you're supposed to be like relaxing and probably talking about the weather and maybe what's on television. But Jamie and I spent, I'm pretty sure, about 3 hours talking about marketing. So I suggested, bringing him on here today because his premier course launch season is coming up in the next couple of months. Is that right? Are you launch
Correct.
Season 2?
It is.
Isn't it coming up like soon?
It is. That will be being rolled out again probably near August, I think. July or August. I will be opening up enrollments again for launch season 2.0. It did really well last year for the people in the course and also for us as well. So we're looking forward to rolling that out again in August.
All right. So for the people out there in our communities who, may or may not know the difference between a launch and a funnel, do you want to just give us a bit of a bird's eye view of the differences between a launch and a funnel and website and why a business should have a launch?
Yeah, great. So that's a really good question, because I think when you look at a typical campaign or a typical, pretty much anything online, it might not get the initial traction that we would like for it to always have. So the approach when doing a launch is it tends to feel like an actual event as opposed to a promotion. So there's a lot of interactivity, there's a lot of hype around it, and there's a lot more attention on your brand during a launch as opposed to a typical campaign. And I think a good point of view to address a launch is that it does have to feel like an actual event as opposed to just a sort of evergreen campaign or sort of like a everyday promotion. So that is the most crucial point of difference, is that it has to feel like a event.
Okay, right. So the biggest thing is it's like a special sort of sequence of events that a business puts together that's different from like a normal everyday funnel or offering that they have.
Correct. Now, obviously, we would like to be able to duplicate that every day, so that every day feels like a event. But unfortunately, it's not always possible due to our audience or our ad spend or anything else like that. So during a launch, you're kind of really driving everything into a single outcome. That is this launch that you are about to have. So all your emails, all of your branding, all of your content, interviews, advertising, SEO, pretty much everything is being geared towards this event. So it's not being split up whereby you might have emails going to your prospects and then you might have advertising going to your clients. It's really everything is being put forward collectively for the objective of the launch. And when that happens, you can really do huge brand upgrades in your launch. So, you know, it's obviously a great opportunity to get more clients and to get more interaction, but your brand gets upgraded too, partly because everyone's seeing you everywhere on the exact same, you know, platform with the exact same promotion everywhere. So a launch, I think, is something that every brand should go through at least each year, or not a launch, but they should be going through that intensity of a campaign whereby they have everything aligned and there's a lot of interaction in there too.
I love the sound of that, because I think I mentioned it to you when we saw each other. We're going through a launch with one of my clients right now, and you know, he's got a high ticket offer. So normally, you know, his services are $1,500, $3,000, $6,000, $12,000, and we've actually just added a $99 product onto the front of that just to see how we would go. And we put it together as a launch and treating it very seriously, and you know, sending a bunch of new stuff out. And you know, we've been really, really pleasantly surprised with the results. In 1 week, he sold 250 of them, which is $25,000. And awesome. We're hoping to make 100 by the end of June. But I can, just from your sharing just then, we've really launched around it without really like knowing, you know, step by step how to do it. That's what we've been doing with this as a campaign, and it's been going really well. I think it's a good way for businesses to really capitalize around their audience and show them something special.
Correct, and it also allows you to draw in a lot of new prospects for a lot cheaper as well, partly because, you know, everyone's hopefully sharing your content, hopefully they're talking about you online and offline too. So I think if we can all go through a launch campaign every 12 months, if not every half a year, then we can really upgrade our brand as well.
Really, really cool. And so tell me the process when you're helping a client go through this process. Like, tell me like just a bit of a mud map of what that looks like for the client.
Yeah, sure. So typically we would begin with the end in mind primarily. So we look at the client's product and we begin to craft that to ensure that it is enticing for a launch campaign. Generally, people, you know, sometimes spend too much time looking at their campaign and trying to tweak that as opposed to tweaking their product, when the product is sometimes the issue at hand. So we always begin with the product first, and then we begin to formulate the actual content and the timeline for the launch. After you have the product and you have the content, so the content can be anything which then allows you to then talk about that product. So interviews, SEO, you know, blog articles, emails, advertising, anything that allows you to talk about that product can then be the bridging between the launch and the product at the end as well. So we pretty much look at the content and the product, and then we just formulate the launch from there. And our typical launch campaign from beginning to end is anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks from the moment we begin to the moment we end. And the reason it's so long is that we have about, I think, 6 to 7 smaller campaigns in there. So we have your pre-launch, your pre-launch, your launch, your open cart, closed cart, and the actual echo launch as well. And for each of those, there's different campaigns, there's different objectives in there too that we're all trying to hit. But the essence of it is that, you know, we want to do 2 things primarily. We want to get customers for our client, but we also would like to upgrade their brand as well, so that we actually introduce them to a new audience, and so that everything becomes easier next time round as well. Because if you're just launching to your current clientele, you're going to get a certain amount of traffic there, right? So we always try to upgrade our sort of client's brand, so it's easier to then charge more, and so it's easier on the ad spend, and just really everything becomes a lot easier when you launch properly, partly because your brand has been upgraded so much, whereby people now come to you. I actually think you and I connected during my first launch I did for my own course, and that's a great example of, you get to meet new connections during your launch because you're being seen everywhere, hopefully, right? So I think a launch is crucial for any brand, online and offline.
Yeah, it's funny because I still, like, with our database, we've got a database of 10,000 people, and what a lady messaged me the other day, and she said, "Oh no, we're not focusing online at the moment." And I just felt like reaching through my computer and strangling her, because I was kind of like, what business in this day and age does not care about their online strategy? It's like, are you kidding me? So I was like, I can't even really, I really struggled for a minute there, Jamie, to think of a business model that wouldn't need to be in some shape or form nurturing an online brand. I mean, I couldn't even think of one. Maybe, I don't know, bounce trampolines for kids. I mean, maybe they don't need to worry about it. But I mean, look, as a business, I just think it's the most crucial thing to do is how you can be online authentically and getting your messages out there. I mean, I'm presuming you have the same point of view, or do you think it can be offline?
I mean, I think every company and every brand in sort of every industry should be online, at least in some essence, somewhere. Now, in terms of how complex they should be online, that obviously changes. So if you're an import and export company and your clients are in China, then you won't be using Facebook so much, right? You'll be using maybe SEO. So I think everyone should be online, but in the complexity of it, I think you need to figure out who your audience is and where they hang out. I don't think every platform is actually intended for every industry, despite what some people are telling everyone, to get on, say, Instagram isn't good for your sort of older generation clientele. If you want to do something to a more higher tier price point, then maybe, LinkedIn or maybe SEO, right? So you need to figure out which platform the brand should be on, and then above all, be online somewhere, as you were saying previously, right? I think it's just absolute, it has to be online in some way, shape or form. Otherwise, you're not going to get found. And if your prospects who you've been trying to close try to look you up online and there's not anything there, then it's going to bring up some very strange and awkward questions in the future as well when you do try to close them.
Some very strange and awkward questions. Look, I mean, I totally agree with all that, especially around LinkedIn and Instagram. I always say to people, just pick one or two platforms and be thoroughly on those platforms. For myself, I tend to be a bit of a Facebook fan, so I'm always lurking in the background, watching everyone's posts and, messaging people on Messenger. So I love Facebook. I think it's an amazing platform. And LinkedIn, we have, 15,000 followers in LinkedIn. Every day I go into LinkedIn, we have another 20 followers that are there waiting for us and, to build a connection. Whereas Instagram, it just feels like a whole lot of work for us. It's just this weird space. We do play there. It's not strategic over there. I don't know. I'd have to say we are very much trying to work out how to monetize that platform, and then you've got Twitter and all these different places. So one thing I was going to ask you is about the death of the website. Do you see that websites are becoming, I know that sounds like very strong language, but, do you see websites continuing in the current form, or do you see sales funnels continuing to emerge as platforms that people take seriously?
I don't think the site will ever be completely dead. I think a mixture of each of them needs to be combined. So if your homepage is a complete opt-in form, then I would say that's incorrect. If your homepage is a typical brochure site, I would say that's incorrect too. I would say you need a mixture of each of them. I would push that, you need a very attractive homepage that looks like a typical brochure site, but also has a direct response call to action as well, that links into your sales funnel too. The reason behind that is mainly for SEO reasons, and not from a traffic point of view, but from when people go to search about you, you want them to be able to click around and to learn more, as opposed to, directly, aggressively trying to close a sort of search lead. You want them to be able to learn about you. If someone's trying to learn about you and all that they can come across is a closed opt-in form, then it's quite hard for them to, qualify you and for them to learn about your brand. However, on the flip side, if you don't have this sort of opportunity to then capture that lead, then you're leaving a lot on the table too. So I think a combination of each of them work really well. If you have a look at anything designed by, what's his name? Eben Pagan on his homepage for actually pretty much anything that he does. I think his site is Altitude. If you look up Altitude Eben Hagen, his site is a perfect example where it is very attractive. It is branded correctly. It looks like a typical product catalog brochure site. However, there's a lot of call to actions and there's a lot of opportunities to ultimately become a lead too. So I think you have to combine each of them. I don't think each on their own is enough personally, but I think when you combine each of them, I think that's when you're playing in the correct space.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. And having those two things coexist together, I think that's one of the challenges that we're working through with a lot of our clients right now, which is, how to have the opt-in forms and sales pages integrate really cohesively with the website so that they're not so separate. People sort of come in and there's natural pathway, I guess, for them to come in and understand who you are. So what sort of clients do you work with? Like, let's just say you had a dream client. What sort of clients suit this kind of thing? Like, we were talking about launches and we were talking about sales pages and all those things. Tell me what the typical client is that can really benefit from this sort of work, and what are the sort of results you've got with some of your other clients?
Great. So I think the ideal client which should be utilizing these, platforms and these campaigns should be anyone. I would like to say who sell higher tier products, mainly because you can customize the sales process and really personalize it through automations and tags and tracking. I think if you're just an online entrepreneur, then arguably you don't need so much complexity. You don't need so many campaigns and content and all that. But if you're doing, say, accounting or finance or anything in the actual property space or anything that say is a higher tier product price point for your customer, then having a really good sales funnel online and a really good sales process, it's just going to help you out immensely. So I would say, anyone like your property developers, your insurance brands, anyone that is a harder product to sell to their customers, mainly because of the trust issues, or mainly because it might be a sort of higher tier price point, or mainly because they might have been hurt in the past from my previous brand. I think if those companies can embrace the online space more, say, aggressively, and really optimize and get their sort of automations really driving those prospects correctly using the right interactions, and I think they'll see an infinite upside in what can be achieved online.
Yeah, you're right. I think that those industries definitely do really well for this sort of work that we're doing. So now I just want to ask you, if you had 3 tips for your audience, like 3 things that they should focus on doing, what would those 3 things be? Like, say, Sunfield out there, but if they had to focus on 3 things to get in place successfully, what would you say for them to focus on?
The first thing I would say is to do the things that you're putting off. Usually those tend to be the sort of things that we just do them immediately, they tend to work. So for some people, it could be calling up cold prospects, going to clients, doing more email, like doing the things they do not enjoy that they are conscious that they should be doing, but they might put off because they don't enjoy it so much. So that would be the first thing. Have a look at the things you are enjoying, and do those first, because those tend to be where the real work can happen. The other 2 points I would say is be consistent online. So what a lot of people tend to do is they will go and, produce content, and they'll go and, do advertising and promotions, and that's great. And then they'll get a handful of clients, and then they'll go offline for like half a year while they work with those clients. And then when they come online again, it's an uphill push. It's almost from ground zero all over again, as opposed to when they just that consistency there while helping their clients, they will just be growing every month. So I think that's the next point. The third point is just to be conscious that advertising has to happen now. That, organic isn't going to bring so much. That, email campaigns now becoming more harder and harder because of the actual open rates now dropping every year. So just be conscious that advertising now has to become a part of your playbook. And that means that, your general overheads will increase. So maybe you have to look at your price point, maybe you have to look at optimizing other things too. So just to recap those, 2 of the things which people are avoiding, be more consistent online in general, and be conscious that advertising has to become a part of your playbook.
It's like amazing advice, especially the one about being consistent, because, sometimes I see people in this space and they slap up a couple of posts and then they're like, oh, nothing happened. And then they're like, it doesn't work. And it truly conclude that, it's like, it takes more than a couple of posts. And also, as you said, that organic reach is just not happening anymore. In the past, we would have got a lot more traction out of it. But now, if you're not advertising, $10, $20 a day, like it's really hard to be seen. The organic posts they're just really in front of a few key people, like 10% of your wall, if that, and you just get missed. Plus, we don't go back over the walls. Like, have you ever tried to go back over someone's Facebook wall and, categorize what they've put up there? It's impossible. It's just, you don't do it.
It is indeed, yeah.
So, you go.
The other thing that I think people should be conscious of is that they should begin their campaigns before they need their campaigns to work.
Totally. Yep. Well and truly before you need it. Like, it's like kind of saying, oh my God, I need water. Where do I get my water from? When you're totally broken in the desert with like no water left. Like that's, or even like no petrol in the tank. Those are amazing analogies.
It is. So pretty much, if people have clients now, they should be trying to get more clients before they need them. That's what I think is crucial.
Yeah, I totally agree, because that's the biggest thing that causes stress in all businesses. Like, if they don't have enough clients, then it puts the whole business model under strain. Like your example before of going, getting that first round of clients and then going away for 6 months and for serving them. I mean, obviously that brings in scale and leveraging. Part of our business is doing marketing, strategic marketing that brings clients in on demand whenever we want them. And, you're in a very blessed position if you have to turn your leads off just to, for a week or two. But, I'd say consistency is super critical, because if you end up at that point where it's really tough, that's like the worst place to be in. The worst.
It is, yeah, it is. Just for a lot of reasons, like things whereby you're now coming from sort of, a place of scarcity where you might be forced to, drop your price, and that makes you more stressed, so you don't put as much energy into it, So it's kind of like a downward spiral, which could be completely avoided if you were just more consistent online and, we're more conscious of the leads and the clients that you have in your upcoming pipeline and sales process.
Completely. I was just going to say, Natasha, one of my girlfriends, she's just saying keep the funnel full always. It's so true. And I think that one thing one thing we've really got really clear on in the last couple of months, even, like you can't send targeted traffic to a website. So we're always really pushing and encouraging our clients to build a funnel, because you learn more on the court building one than you do talking about it. And, once you have a converting funnel, especially a self-liquidating funnel where, you're actually getting your advertising costs back on an offer inside of the funnel. Building the funnel is so key. And then when I'm talking to my clients, they're always talking about, well, how do I fill it? Filling a funnel is a different thing to building a funnel. And once you have a funnel, extending in the funnel is another thing altogether. So, I like to keep those areas quite separate, because I think when they're all blurred in together, it can get really confusing really quickly. And then add on to that, a business not being clear offers, it can be like a spaghetti bowl, I guess. So look, Jamie, just for the background for the group, how many years have you been obsessing over marketing?
Obsessive? That's a very interesting question. I've been obsessive, I reckon this is my 8th or 9th year. I am beginning to lose count, but I think 8 now. Yeah,
I'm actually at year 10, I'm at year 12, as in not year 12, like as in school. Like I'm 12 years of online marketing.
Awesome.
And for me, it started with reading the 4-Hour Week. But I mean, ultimately, it is I think the other week when we caught up, that was an example of that. Like it's not something how do you say, not that you ever turn off from it, because I do turn off from it as well. But I just really love having marketing conversations. I obsess about it. It's definitely something that I spend every minute of my day learning about. And that's why I love connecting with you and also our friendship, because we get to play in this field together, refer clients to each other. It's a pretty magical spot. So if anyone wants to pursue a coffee with you or catch up or explore launch season, how can they best get in contact with you? How can they be mates with you like I am?
As sort of unprofessional as this would sound, add me as a friend and just say hello. Like I am honestly,
I've hit my friend limit, Jamie. No one can friend me anymore. I have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm too popular.
Okay, well, I've still got a few more, spaces left. I think I'm actually list. So first serve, right? But pretty much, look, I'm always open to help out everyone. So if people are keen to say add me as a friend online, I'm more than happy to hang out and to help out always.
Okay, I'm going to also send them to, if it's all right, your website, Jamie Stenhouse, JamieSten House, HOUSE.com. There's like a really incredible checklist. He's got 2 checklists there, which I suggest everyone download. One is like a program blueprint planner. Sorry, Jamie. It's a program blueprint planner where you can sort of, get all of your stuff planned for the year and whack it into this planner. Advertising checklist, which I think are 2 very, very helpful tools for people wanting to, find out more about the online space and obviously, see a bit more about your world and what you're about.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, for sure.
You're welcome, Jamie. All right, well, we better, as I said, the only problem we'd have in this interview is we probably could keep going, but we won't. We'll have to wait till some other party to talk longer or even just do another one of these and help our audiences. So, thanks again for everything. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Awesome. See you, Jamie. Bye. Bye. Are you